How's it going, Dave from Comic Book Investments? So in this video, we're going to look at the top trending comic books of the week. So usually what I like to do is I go through, Key Collector, Go Collect, and Cover Price, and a bunch of other random sites, and I kind of look what's going on in the market, what's trending, as in, what's being sold a lot, what's heating up, all this kind of stuff. And I go through and I kind of pick a bunch of different comic books on that list that I find interesting, worth talking about, and kind of give you my 2 cents as a comic book dealer and what I think you should do with them. But that's just my advice. You don't have to listen to it. I've been wrong many a times before. So this is just kind of like what I see. So yeah, let's go through the list and let's talk about them. Also, I've mentioned this before, but if you buy anything on eBay, doesn't even have to be comics. I have a link below. Use that. It helps out the channel. End up getting like a fraction of a percent. But, with a bunch of people out there, every little bit helps. And you can buy anything. It doesn't even have to be comics. The link takes you to comic books on eBay. But you can buy whatever you want. You can buy garbage cans if you want. I don't really care. Just buy whatever you want. It just helps. You can buy groceries. I don't know if you can buy groceries on eBay, but it helps out the channel. All right, so let's get into it. I like to break it up. The first ones I like to call are passes. What I'm like, pass, move along, move along. All right, so the first we got is Spider-Punk #1. I have the 1 in 50 variant up there, but this is for general Spider-Punk in general. Personally, I love the art. I like this kind of art style. It's cool. I like it. But as a long-term investment, that's what I'm talking about, long-term investment, I really don't see this book really going anywhere in the next 5 years. Sorry. Maybe if Spider-Verse 2 is really good and then they go to another Spider-Verse 3 and they, have a... Because think of it like this. There's Spider-Man India, I think it was called, a nothing book. Just literally a nothing buok. I had copies of those that would sell for less than a penny. Like, it was a nothing book for the longest time. And then I believe there was in Spider-Verse 2, he goes to Spider-Man India is somehow part of it or something like that in the book, went out. Like, no one's going to know that's going to happen in 10 years from now. But in terms of just a quality long-term investment book, pass. All right, next we got West Coast Avengers 56. This is the first cover appearance of the Dark Scarlet, Wanda Maximoff, and her new costume with her evil persona. So this is evil Wanda. This is up 233% from previous week because Sam Raimi disclosed the presence of multiple Scarlet Witch variants in the Doctor Strange movie. So in the trailer, you've seen that there's multiple Doctor Stranges where there's going to be multiple Scarlet Witches, in this book because of that. But this is going to be one of those books where, if you have it, sell it now. But I would not recommend buying it now. So if you have it, sell it now. Because even if she does, an evil persona of her is in the movie, and say they battle or something like that, okay, that's great. But once that hype is gone, and pretty much you have now, and then let's say she's in the movie, so the movie comes out in 3 weeks, and then you got another couple weeks of people oh my gosh, she's in it, I gotta buy a bunch of copies, and then after that it's just gonna fizzle out, and then you'll never see or hear from her again. I mean, look at West Coast Avengers 45, first White Vision, and he was a main character in the TV show. Massive. Went up from a $100 book to a $1,000 book. Now it's back down to a $100 book. So you have a very short window. Sell it if you have it. I wouldn't recommend buying it right now. Pass. All right. Next we got is Miles Morales #13. This is the first appearance of Billy Morales, sister of Miles. This is up 206% versus the previous week. Second time it's on this list, due to an upcoming beginning of Miles Morales arc. I don't see this as a very long-term investment at all. This is not going to be anything special in the future. I mean, I just you got Miles Morales, so you want to go for obviously Ultimate Fallout 4. That's the one you want. And there's like second tier ones you can get of Miles. But this is just going to be so far down the list. I don't see this like really being anything. Like, when did this book come out? 2019. Yeah, I don't really see this being anything as like a long-term investment. My advice now, it's going to be hot during the arc, and that's about it. All right. Next we got, this is keep an eye out. This is more of like green, so like go ahead. This is kind of like, yeah, I kind of recommend this book. All right, you got Fantastic Four 205, first team appearance in the Nova Corps. And then it's first appearance of Rule, later becomes the Protector, but I don't know about that. Yes. So also a Skrull Emperor is revealed. This is up 250% from the previous week. So it's been rumored, pretty much like talked about for a long time, but recent news is Nova is coming into the MCU. That's why Nova #1 has been going up in price. The Nova Corps actually appeared in Guardians 1. It might have been Guardians 2. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but they're in Guardians 1. I think John C. Reilly was like the head or one of the heads of it. So the Nova Corps has already been in it. You're going to see the Nova Corps in future MCU. That's pretty much going to happen eventually, unless everyone at the Marvel executives die and they get a whole bunch of new people and then they have to, come up with a whole new plan. But I can see the Nova Corps happening because Kevin Feige has confirmed multiple times the future of the MCU will be dealing with like mystic stuff, so like Doctor Strange and multiverse stuff, and then space. So that's why you got the Fantastic Four coming around the corner, Galactus, Silver Surfer, all that kind of stuff. I've mentioned a million times. Those are the books you need to be picking up. So the Nova Corps is definitely, they're the police spacemen. Kind of similar to Green Lantern. So yeah, I would pick up that book. Next one, The Crow #1. This is the second appearance of The Crow. I made a mistake on a previous video. I said his first appearance, but obviously the first appearance is Caliber Presents #1. But this is his first solo book and his second appearance. Plus, Caliber #1 is not nearly as expensive as Crow #1 due to print runs and the fact this is a more desirable book. And also, it's all black cover, so it's harder to get high grade. All right. So there's multiple printings of this. I would definitely go for the first print, but it's very, very expensive. It's a 500 increase. Why is it increasing? Because it's confirmation that Bill Skarsgård will portray Eric Draven in the film reboot of The Crow. So Bill Skarsgård the Skarsgårds are a family of actors. And if I'm remembering correctly, there's a lot of them. Like the dad, the mom, a bunch of kids, bunch of boys and girls. Bill Skarsgård is the actor that played It, the clown, in the It reboot. I believe so. But here's the thing. The Crow has been, they have confirmed, I believe Bradley Cooper at one point was the Crow. The guy from The Third Rock from the Sun, who's also played as Robin, who's also in Looper, John Lovitz. No. What the hell is that guy's name? Josh Lovitz. Josh Gordon Lovitz. There it is. Josh Gordon Lovitz. I believe he was confirmed as the Crow. I can remember correctly. For a long time. This is like 5, 6. This has been trying to get this made forever. So I've always suggested this book. Eventually it'll get made. Even if it doesn't get made, this Crow book falls into that like 80s independent comic book that is very like highly desired in the comic collecting world. Like these 80s independent comic books. You also have like 60s and 70s independents, but like the independent comic boom really happened in the 80s. So you got all these characters like this coming out of there, and the Crow falls into that. So it's always going to be expensive. You got like Albedo 2, you got Turtles #1, things like that. So that book always falls into it. So even if the Crow movie never does get made, it kind of has this appeal anyways to this type of comic book. So I would always recommend this book. All right, next we got Crisis Infinite Earths #1. This is the first appearance of Blue Beetle Ted Corrigan in the DC universe after being acquired by Charlton Comics. I did not know that. You learn something new all the time. I obviously knew Blue Beetle first was in oh, what was it? Captain Atom 83? Am I remembering that? 83? And then there's three Blue Beetles, three main Blue Beetles. There's the one who just had like the gun, and he was from the Golden Age, and he was on Fox, not Fox TV, Fox publication comic book line. Then there's Charlton, the Blue Beetle, and he had the scarab on the back. So the first one didn't have really anything to do with the scarab. The second one, Ted Korg, he had the scarab on the back, which would help him with stuff. Then there's the third one. Oh, I forget his name. Um, but anyways, he was the one that's in the Young Justice. He's the one where he merged with the Scarab, and it's more of he's like kind of like cyborg-ish. Well, kind of like he can like make weapons and things like that out of like his body type of thing. So three different main ones. First appearance of Parith. I don't know. First appearance of Alex Luthor Jr. Didn't know that either. First appearance of the Monitor. I knew that. All right, 250% increase versus the previous weeks. Rumors DC's been working toward Crisis Infinite Earths event in the upcoming Flash movie. Oh, good lord. Oh. I wish I could have just been on the board when they were discussing their original DCEU that just fell apart. Like I wish I could have been there. Just like listen to these morons' train of thought. Like, I'm talking about the executives that were making this DC cinematic universe. Like, it's just so bad. Like, all their decisions were all wrong. Like, they wanted to, like, hey, we should start with the Justice League type of thing. Instead of building up these individual characters like Marvel did, which is the wise decision, you build up each character. Iron Man has a movie, Ant-Man has a movie, Thor has a movie, all this stuff, and they come together as Avengers. Because you want the audience, yes, there's the... Like, their thinking was like, everyone knows who Superman and Wonder Woman and all that kind of stuff is. Like, yeah, generally people do, but they don't know this version. And you want not just comic nerds to go and watch your movie. You want the general audience. So you make the general audience fall in love with, Scott Lang is his name, Paul Rudd, his Ant-Man, right? You want, Chris Hemsworth, Thor, Rob Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, obviously, Chris Evans, Captain America. And you want people to fall in love with those individual characters. So then when you come out with a movie with all of them in it, you're pulling fans from Iron Man, you're pulling fans from Ant-Man, you're pulling fans from, Thor, all this stuff. Was Ant-Man the first Avengers? I know he's in the comic book. Now I can't remember. But anyways, you pull all these people from all these different movies, all their fans into one giant movie, and that's why it makes billions of dollars. But with DC, they're like, let's skip that. Because we want money now. We want money now. We don't want to wait. We want to make $1 billion movie now. So they come out with the Justice League. Fail. Massive fail. It didn't even crack $1 billion. Did not even. Was it? Yeah, I don't think it cracked $1 billion. I think it was like worldwide. Like barely anything. The new Batman, I think, made more than the Justice League. The Justice League should have been massive. But again, they're terrible. Like now you have to give all these characters backstories. Like, yeah, I know who Cyborg is. You know who Cyborg is. But guess what? There's only like 3,000 people that will watch this video. So like, okay, 3,000 people, that's not enough to make $1 billion. Like, you need to get the general public. Like, my friends that know nothing about comic books, yeah, they know who Superman, Spider-Man, Batman and stuff like that. But they don't know who Cyborg is. They're like, who's that guy? But if he had his own movie where he built it up and people saw it, or at least got a general idea, saw trailers and things like that, they would know who Cyborg is. And it's just like, oh yeah. It's just, or the Flash. It's like, oh, well, you got the people watching the CW Flash. First of all, it's a different actor, Grant Gustin versus Ezra Miller. But on top of that, there's not that many people that watch the Flash TV show. I think it's like 2 million people that watch it. That's not a lot, especially when you're trying to make $1 billion at the box office. So it's dumb, just bad decisions all around. And so the whole thing just implodes and is this garbage mess. They lost money on a bunch of stuff. I think they barely broke even on, I think, the Justice League. But it was just a bunch of garbage stuff. And now they're like, okay, well, we already have this stuff going. And then you have Ezra Miller being this like a dick all the time and getting arrested and doing weird stuff. I don't know. I hated his portrayal of Flash. Hated it with a passion. Just terrible, just awful. I'm glad they're going to get rid of him. They will get rid of him. He's just a mess of a person. And what he wears, oh God. like out in public. Ugh. Anyways, so I think what they're going to try to do is do like this reboot, basically, the first, and that they can't make a freaking decision on anything. Like they keep on constantly second guessing themselves. Oh, we're going to make it a two-parter because Avengers Endgame and Infinity War is two-parter. Oh no, we're just going to make it a one-part. Like they can't make a decision on anything. It's like, who's running the ship at all? And so the thing was they're going to do a Flashpoint kind of thing and kind of reboot because, when Flashpoint comes back, everything's a little different. They did that in the comics. That was the New 52. So they're going to do a Flashpoint that kind of reboots it. And that's why they did Infinite Crisis. That kind of rebooted it back in the day because they had all these things going on. And they it was like a comic book reboot. Same with Flashpoint. So that's fine. So they're like, okay, we're going to do Flashpoint. Well, now we're going to do Infinite Crisis. It's like, oh my God. First, you're going to have Darkseid. Oh no, we got rid of Darkseid. And then it's a Steppenwolf. Oh, we're going to bring in Darkseid later. And never brings it. Like, just trash. All those people, the executives, whoever's making these decisions, all need to be fired. Just fired. Get new people. Get people that understand, like, don't get corporate people. Get people that understand comics. And then just get good directors and writers that understand the material and know how to make a good movie. And then that's all you need to do. And have like an overarching theme of what's going to happen. What was that? Was it the new Star Wars? They didn't even have, they were making a new trilogy when they started with Force Awakens. They didn't even have an overarching like story plotted out. Like, this is where we want the first... They knew they were making a trilogy. This is where we want the first movie to go, second movie to go, third movie to go. No, they didn't. They just kind of like had like a rough outline, not really, because every director came and changed that outline anyways. It's like, really? That's like me writing a chapter of a book, giving it to a complete stranger, them writing a chapter of a book, giving it to a complete stranger, and them finishing the book. And it's like, how do you have a cohesive story off of that? So dumb. People, it make me so mad. You can make such good movies if you literally just put in like 5 seconds of effort and thought 2 seconds ahead, like playing chess. Jesus. Anyways, what are we talking about? Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yes, buy that book. Because I think it's a good book regardless of this rumor stuff. I still think it's a good book. It's a very iconic storyline and been referenced and redone multiple times. Very good. All right, next we got Speculation. These are books that are like, speculate on, caution, proceed with caution. That's why it's yellow. All right, Doctor Strange 48. Man, that was a long rant. Doctor Strange 48. First meeting of Doctor Strange, Brother Voodoo. You guys got me all worked up. So basically, a crew member was gifted this by director Sam Raimi as reference material, although Brother Voodoo and Clea are still subjects of unconfirmed speculation. So, with this particular book, Doctor Strange 48, I would pass. But if we're going the speculation of Brother Voodoo and Clea, I would go for their first appearances. So I would more go for a Strange Tales 169 than even a 170, his second appearance, than something like this, which is like a 5th, 6th tier of Brother Voodoo. All right, next we got Battlestar Galactica, number 1. This is the first appearance of Battlestar Galactica, I believe. All right, so in 2020, October, the movie was in development with Simon Kinberg, which did X-Men. I believe, isn't he the crappy writer? Didn't he direct the Dark Phoenix? That was the first, it was not very good. And a TV show was in the works from producer Dylan Clark, Planet of the Apes. Nothing happened. So that's 2 years ago nearly, and nothing happened. Now, in April 2022, heating up after being featured on Reggie Collect's YouTube channel. Okay, so this one I'd proceed with great caution because this is going to be one of those books like The Eternals, right? It was like worthless before, movie comes out, spikes it, and it's back down to worthless again. So if this does come out, which I don't think so, but if it does come out, it'll be one of those books because this book is like, wasn't popular when it was made, 1979. It's not popular now. So it's not really worth anything. So if it does come out, it's heavy, heavy speculation on how this movie does. Now, if you have Simon Kingberg attached to it, Kingsenberg or whatever his name is, I have a little faith. But who knows? It could be a great movie slash TV show slash animated film slash whatever they decide to do with it thing. But be aware, proceed with great caution because this book is not really worth anything. So if this thing never gets made, it's still not going to be worth anything. If this thing does get made, whatever they're working on, and it fails, which probably will, it'll still be worthless. So you have a very small chance that this book, like, you have to make sure whatever they're working on becomes actually really good. And come on, it's Hollywood. When do they actually ever make something that's really good? Like, you can remember great movies like Jurassic Park 1, but how many of the other Jurassic Parks have been as good as Jurassic Park 1? Not even close. And now think of all the other stupid dinosaur movies that are out there. They're all terrible. Like Velociraptor Pastor. That's an actual movie. It's about a pastor that turns into Velociraptor. I'm not even joking. I never watched it, but I saw the trailer. It's bad. Okay. All right. Last one on this list is, man, this is a long video. Werewolf by Night 32. Obviously, the first appearance of Moon Knight. TV show is out. I believe, if I can remember correctly off the top of my head, Disney Plus said this was like their most watched first whatever thing, like first episode of a TV show. So definitely a ton of people tuned in for this. I personally thought the first episode was fantastic. I thought the second episode was a little lackluster. Not that it was bad. It's just maybe I was like hyping it too much up in my head. And so the second episode was like, eh. I mean, there's a really cool scene where, spoiler alert, where he takes the werewolf by night. I don't know what he is. He's just a werewolf, but I'll call him the werewolf by night. And it was like a cool scene where he like grabs him and like pushes him down onto this like church steeple or something like that, and it stabs him, and there's like this far away shot where you see the silhouette of the werewolf by night being impaled. That was pretty cool. There's a bunch of different like kind of cool quirky things that I liked. So built on, it just wasn't as good as the first episode. For some reason I found myself kind of like a little more bored in this episode compared to the first one, but nonetheless. All right, this has been trending with 365% with a high sale of $19,200 for a 9.6. So yeah, this book is seeing a bit of a dip. I will say that, but I still think this is a great book. Now it's in the speculation category. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm a little tired, I guess, when I was making this, that I put it in the speculation. Maybe this is the past. I don't know which one I put it on because all I have is my notes, and I'll find out as soon as you guys will see the picture somewhere over here, and I'll have either a green bar or a yellow bar. I can't remember which one I put it under. I thought I put it on speculation, but now that I'm thinking about it, that doesn't make any sense. It should be green as eye out as in go, but it's not really that either. I don't know. So anyways, but my recommendation, that's what I do. I recommend this. Oh, I think I was thinking of speculation because it's been going down recently. But I think the speculation is that it should continue to uptick back up because the show is a success. And it's Moon Knight, and it's a good Bronze Age key. So I wouldn't imagine this going down too much more. So, hope you have a good day and you like this list.